I had a roommate, very scatterbrained, refused to clean. I tried to make accommodations. Hey, do you need reminders? Do you want to schedule a chore chart on the fridge? Because we do need to clean, the house gets messy. And then she refused to do that and follow through, and then would complain that the trash was full. Of course, she would come, use her takeout containers, eat her food, treat the house as a hotel, the apartment as a hotel, and would dump it and then fill up the trash, but then wouldn't take it out. And of course, because of like ADHD, short-term memory impairments, she'd have this form of amnesia where she wouldn't really recognize the mess that she was leaving, and would perceive it to be our fault because me and the other roommate tended to be, we were studying at the time, at home more often than she was. But she was also equally responsible for contributing to the trash and also for taking it out, but wouldn't do so, and then would complain about the smell. And I would think, hey, like, you also have a responsibility here. Why do you expect us to assume responsibility? Well, I'm at work all day. Yeah, but the time that you're here, you're still contributing to the mess. And she would leave food to rot in the fridge. She would buy a whole bunch of stuff, not cook it, not use it, leave takeout, and it would start to get mold. And of course, the mold spores could spread to other food, and it could contaminate our food. So I'd always have to throw it out. We had a mouse get into this roommate's food, and they made a big mess. And she would never check her cupboard. So I discovered it by accident weeks later with a festering mouse carcass in there. It was horrible, horrible. I could smell it, but she was barely around to smell it herself and notice it. And she'd buy stuff and again forget that she'd bought it and wouldn't check her cupboards. And loveliest person, but that behavior to me was inconsiderate and selfish, and I got very frustrated. And at the end, I was glad that we parted ways, because I was like, I understand that you're struggling with executive dysfunction, that you, in your downtime, you don't want to have to deal with these day-to-day routine activities or responsibilities, but you've chosen to live with other people and you have that responsibility. So that's an example where executive dysfunction, neurodivergent related challenges, bleeds over into selfish and inconsiderate behavior. And we don't want to excuse that. If it impacts other people, harms other people, that person has, the onus is on them to take responsibility for their actions and how it impacts other people. Not to make excuses, not to say, oh, it's my executive dysfunction, and not go, okay, well, how do I, solution focused mindset, how do I find ways to actually address this problem and rise above it?